Have you ever heard a woman cry? The softer it gets, the closer she gets. That night I rode an old motorbike, coming home late, through a quiet back road. The motorcycle's headlights vibrated and the cold wind pierced. All that could be heard was the sound of branches breaking. Then, from the darkness, the sound of crying emerged. It was soft, it hurt. I thought someone was lost, but the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. The cry sounded right behind my ear. I turned around. It was dark, empty, but my heart was beating wildly. The voice grew softer, closer, like a whisper. Under a big tree, I saw it, a white figure standing, long hair covering its face. I almost lost control of the motorbike. My body was shaking. I fell. I hit the ground, gasping for breath. When I looked up, he was gone. All that remained was a faint, piercing laugh. I ran into the bamboo grove. My breath was heavy, branches clawing at my body. Suddenly, I saw a light in the distance, an old house. I rushed in. A dim oil lamp was burning inside. In the corner, a grandmother sat, pale face, empty eyes. She said softly, "Don't turn around if he calls you." Before I could answer, the crying sound came again, from behind the bedroom door. The bedroom door creaked open slowly. The sound grew clearer. I knew, that night I was not alone anymore. The sound of a baby crying could be heard from behind the bamboo trees. My body trembled, but curiosity compelled me to approach. As I took a step, a woman's shrill laughter suddenly erupted, making my ears ring. I looked back. My motorbike had fallen over, as if someone had pushed it on purpose. The Kuntilanak appeared clearly. Her long hair covered her face, and her white dress was stained with red. I wanted to run, but my feet felt like they were nailed to the ground. My breath was ragged, my heart almost bursting. She lifted his face. A bloody smile appeared, his teeth sharp, his eyes glowing red. In a hoarse voice, she whispered and invited me to come with him. I held a prayer to my lips, trying to fight back the fear, but the air grew colder, my breath turning to smoke. The Kuntilanak laughed loudly, then disappeared into the mist, but I knew she wasn't really gone. From a distance, the sound of a baby crying could be heard again, closer, more real. I looked left and right, but the road was deserted. Only thick fog swallowed me. Suddenly, I heard the sound of footsteps, slow, but approaching. I ran to get the motorbike, my hands shaking trying to start the engine. The engine roared, but then died again. A shrill laugh pierced the night. I turned around, and she was already in the back seat of the motorbike. My eyes burned, and cold sweat drenched my body. I felt like I was going to die on the spot. The Kuntilanak pressed her lips to my ear. Her whisper was hoarse, full of threat. "If you run away, I'll come with you to your house," he said. I closed my eyes and said a choked prayer, "May someone save me." Suddenly, the sound of a rooster could be heard in the distance. The night felt like it was cracking. The Kuntilanak's face changed, from scary to angry. She screamed so loud, her voice almost made my ears explode. As fast as lightning, his body floated into the bamboo forest. I immediately started the motorbike. This time, the engine fired up. I stepped on the gas as hard as I could, running away without looking back. However, in the rearview mirror, I still saw her long hair flowing. She stuck close behind. The distance didn't change even though I was speeding up. My heart is almost breaking. I can only hope that dawn will come soon. Finally, the lights of people's houses could be seen faintly in front. I ran towards the light, even though I knew the shadow was still following me. The motorbike stopped suddenly. The front tire got caught on a large root in the road. I was thrown down, my knees bleeding, my breath gasping. The sound returned, a long laugh that echoed from the bamboo forest. I dragged my body, trying to get up, but my steps were heavy. A white shadow appeared on the street. Her long hair fluttered softly. She approached, His face was downcast, his feet off the ground. The closer we got, the colder the air became, my breath froze. I screamed, my hoarse voice barely audible. Suddenly, the lights of the house in front turned on brightly. An old man came out carrying a torch. "Who's there?" he shouted. The Kuntilanak stopped, her gaze burned with hatred. She screamed loudly, then disappeared into the mist. The grandfather ran over to me, his hands were shaking. "You were almost taken away," he said quietly, his face pale. I was still sobbing, my body was shaking, the blood in my legs was getting faster. Grandpa dragged me into the house, the door was immediately locked tightly. Inside the house, the smell of incense was strong, old photos hung on the walls. I stared at the photo, the face of a young woman in a white robe. Her face is exactly the same as the Kuntilanak earlier. Grandpa's voice trembled. "It was my wife who committed suicide in that forest." I was speechless, my heart seemed to stop beating. The grandfather looked at me. "And now he chose you," he said. I wanted to get out, but the door was shaking violently, like someone was banging on it from outside. Suddenly the candle began to dim, there was only a red light behind the window. From the darkness, the whispering voice returned, closer than before. I felt a cold breath on the back of my neck. Grandpa lit incense. The smoke thickened, making me cough. But the smoke actually formed the shape of a face, a Kuntilanak, smiling at me. I was stunned, my body was stiff, I couldn't move. And before I could realize it, she was right in front of me. His eyes were red, his face cracked like broken porcelain. Her pale hand reached out, long nails smeared with blood. I closed my eyes, hoping this was a nightmare. But the cold touch was real, digging into my shoulder. Grandpa shouted, lifting an old carriage from behind the table. He stabbed the carriage towards the Kuntilanak. A shrill scream broke out. The glass of the house window cracked. His body trembled, then turned into a thick mist. The carriage fell from grandfather's hand, blood flowing from his mouth. "She, my wife," he whispered before his life was gone. I sat down, my body shaking, trying to breathe. But the mist swirled, forming a figure again. This time his face was clearer, his cold smile was piercing. I tried to grab the carriage, but my hand was knocked away. She whispered in my ear, "Come with me, now." I almost gave up, my vision was starting to get dark. Suddenly, the sound of the call to prayer from the village mosque was heard far away. The Kuntilanak stopped, her face grimaced in pain. The light of dawn seeped through the gaps in the bamboo walls. His figure was burned by light, then disappeared with the mist. I sat down weakly, only the sound of the morning birds could be heard. Grandpa was lying lifeless beside me. I stared at the carriage. The blood was still warm, but the reflection on the blade made me freeze. The Kuntilanak's face smiled behind the metal reflection. I dropped the carriage, cold sweat pouring down my face. Outside the house, the sound of laughter returned, distinct but real. I realized he wasn't really gone. She's just waiting for his time to come again. And maybe, this time, I won't be able to run. Silence swallowed the night. The old house fell silent again, as if there had never been any screams, no crying. But the scent of frangipani flowers still hung in the air. The cold pierced the nose, indicating that he had not left yet. The villagers say, once you see his face, he will forever stare back from the darkness. The following nights, the sound of a baby crying could still be heard, even though the house was locked tightly. As if he refused to be forgotten, it was as if his grudge bound the land and air around him. And whoever tries to challenge it will return home with only their body, not their soul. The legend of Kuntilanak is not just a story, it is a warning and a curse. If one night you hear soft laughter behind the window, never turn around, because she could be right behind you right now. And so, the story ends, but make no mistake, the story of the Kuntilanak is never truly over.